Welcome back to the Positive Vibe Enthusiast. I'm your host, Tashi, and on today's episode, we have a very, very special guest, Miss Binish Lalani, also known as the Sovereign Empress, and she is gracing us with her presence today because she is going to tell us about her upcoming book, The Sovereign Empress, and also tell us about what has brought her to this point. So, Banish, I am so happy to have you with me today. How are you?
I am good. Feeling so blessed today to be on this podcast, my very first podcast. So thank you so much for the invite.
We're
Just
happy to have you.
knowing that I'm sitting in front of this another sovereign empress right here. It's just amazing because you just I told you what I was working on and you're like, "You know what? Let's get you started. Let's get you going. What do you need?" You step forward like an empress does for another empress. So kudos to you and thank you so much for just like I don't receive this kind of a support anywhere else. So it's like it's really for me it's a not only a blessing and honor, but also a gift in disguise from the divine, like a support. So when I do believe highly in like the karmic cycle. So when you do help somebody, they might not be able to help you when you need it, but rest assured divine's going to arrange the help you need when you need it. So you're that help for me. You're the angel in disguise right now who's helping me spread the word. So thank you so much for having me. This is amazing. I feel so blessed. How are you today?
I am very, very well. I thank you for your kind words. Um, so where do you like? Let's start with your origin story.
Okay.
So, who was Banish before she became the Sovereign Empress?
Well, Binish was a people pleaser, always would say yes whenever somebody, regardless of her own self being. Like my well being was not my priority. I would always put others first. If somebody comes to me for help, or even like in my community, we are very like organized in terms of volunteerism. So the whole community runs on just volunteers, right? We all run, but we don't. Nobody gets paid. We just service is part of Islam. So every time there's a voluntary service come my way, I would say yes, regardless of how much commitment I needed to put in because it takes time, effort. For example, I'm teaching ECDC, which is Early Childhood Development Center, which takes my Sunday mornings. So I have to be there Sunday morning for a couple hours with kids, and before they have to prep. So before the Sovereign Empress, before this awakening, I guess, I was a people pleaser. I was would not I was not comfortable confronting people. Like I would keep things just inside me. Like even though I know they're lying to me, but I'll keep that to myself. Even though I feel like what they said is wrong about me or whatever the case is, I would just not speak up. I just stayed quiet because I would rather keep the peace than start something. And I
No, I
was like the
understand.
peacekeeper. I was the peacekeeper of the family too, right? So that's how it just growing up as a child that just came became part of me. And even though some things are unfair regarding me happening, I still would not speak up just for my sake either. That's how I was so low self esteem, low confidence, and also growing up, it was engraved in my head that I was ugly. So all this time I thought I was ugly.
Oh, wow.
And so for me to come to this agreement, and right now, every time I dress up, put makeup on, I look myself in the mirror and I always compliment myself as like, ah, you're looking hot today. You're
That's
looking
good.
like I am like just getting it. Like this is myself was just like in a little box and just anything that was comfortable. I was just staying in my comfort zone, not trying to explore, not stirring the pot, just staying in my comfort zone. No fights, no nothing. Stay away from everything in my own box. There are times when my good friends, people would abuse me all the time because of my kindness. Because I can't say no, then they know that they could always come and ask me, knowing fully well how much it's gonna cost me. So like I have had situations where, and I'm the type of person I would actually offer help before you even ask. because I can read it. I can read it in your face. I'm a very observant person and I'm very empathetic. So put those two together, being observant of your facial expressions and being empathetic. Now I've like, I know what's going, literally I can read you and I'm like, oh, I can help you with this. Like, even though this is going to cost me extra effort, go out of my way, make arrangement, special arrangement for that person, I would still like, I'm that person. So I have recognized when I was awoken is when those repeated situations happened, it just clicked in place. And I would be like, wait, they abused me here. Like, this is not right. This was abuse, this was abuse, this was abuse. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what else was I being abused for? What else did I stay quiet? And then once you can't, kind of like, when you see it, you can't really unsee it.
Oh,
That's,
yes, no, absolutely. And I know for me, I kind of went through my own, I guess, deliverance from people pleasing. And but I also had to reflect back on myself, like what part of it did I play? Like how did I even get myself in this situation? Because I'm actually just a bit believer that um, everything is my fault. Like that's how I was able to get through people pleasing because it's like, well, I can't be upset with them. I'm the one that said yes, or I'm the one that knew my schedule, or that type of thing. So how has that been part of your experience? I hear you say the abuse of others on you. Like, have you found any? Do you think you played any part
yes,
of
of
that?
course, of course. It's a two-way street, right? If I had my boundaries, they wouldn't be able to take advantage of me, right? Because I didn't have my boundaries, I did not even know what boundaries were and how to set them. That's where it comes, because a kinesthetic learner, it's really hard for, if somebody tells, Finish, have some boundaries, and I'll be like, how? So for me it's like, yes, I think we both play a part. It's like, I think it's a two-way street. So blaming everything on them, that's not right. Okay. So yes, I should have been, but again, the trauma, right? Like, it takes a lot of healing and a lot of people around you who actually show you a different light of the situation to make you aware of what's happening inside your universe is abuse. Unless somebody outsider tells you, hey, no, you shouldn't say yes to this. Like, I have had couple people standing next to me and I was about to say yes and they're like, you if you don't feel okay saying yes, don't say yes. Like, these people are directing me, and that's when it's like those things clicking. So yes, I think it's both parties fault. Yes, that I think. And the other part that I wanted to add that in was that when we are coming out of our people pleasing and we start to set boundaries, it actually stirs the pot in a different way. Right?
Oh yeah, yeah. You're gonna start to tick a lot of people off.
Yeah, because now they're not used to you being this way. So when you do stand your ground with them, when you do start to say no, when you do start to say, I'm not okay with this and I'm gonna speak up, they kind of, what's wrong
Hmm.
with you? You've changed it, what happened to you? They
Yes.
say it as if it's a bad thing that I've changed, because it's not benefiting them anymore, obviously.
Well, yes. And, I want to, maximize our time here.
Yeah.
So, flash forward, Banish is no longer people pleasing. Banish has the highest of confidence. She is not taking any of your mess. She's a sovereign empress now. What exactly is the sovereign empress?
Sovereign Empress can be male or female. It doesn't just resonate with one gender or the other. There's no gender in it. It basically just refers to an energy. So you elevate yourself spiritually, in your body, and as well as in your emotions, right? So spiritual, physical, and intellect. Sorry, those three. So your soul counts as your heart and your emotions. Soul has everything in it. Spiritual is emotions, your heart comes there. Your body is your body, right? So your heart is also part of your body. That's why I'm not referring heart as a separate entity, because it's already part of the physical body and it's also part of the soul as well. So your body, your soul, and your intellect needs to be in one dimension. Whichever dimension you are, whichever frequency you are in, if your brain is telling you something different, then your body is indicating something different, and your soul is telling you something different, then it's a house divided, which is going to be my second book, which is House of One, where I teach you how to actually become one with all three of your entities. So Sovereign Empress is an awoken person who has the house of one, which means whenever they're in a situation, however they're dealing with life, the intellect, the soul, and the body are aligned so much that the power of the intuition is so high that your intuition just literally makes things happen, or it can anticipate if something is going to happen, and it can also help you manifest. But it also brings you this piece of knowing yourself, because a sovereign empress is also a co-creator. So being that we are women, we were already created as co-creators. Because we have the womb, right? In our
Mm-hmm.
womb, we create life with the help of God. Like once a woman is pregnant, the job of male is done there, but inside the womb, that's when the divine comes into play and helps the woman grows the baby, right? So that is the physical and scientific proof right here that we women are co-creators by birth. This is our birthright. So when we come into that awakening of the sovereign empress, we actually take charge of that co-creator power that's within us, because we have awoken it. So now you're aligned. Once we align the house of one with that co-creator power, now you become with one with the divine. So I think that plays a lot of part in like how the universe will start to shift things around you when you become sovereign empress, because you're a sovereign empress is also the person who cares about others too. She doesn't just serve herself, but she serves humanity, animal kingdom. She serves everybody in her vicinity. Like, so for example, I feed birds, I have rescued cats. But like, coming to this point, I think a sovereign empress is a person who's complete, doesn't need anybody else to complete me. I am complete in my own existence. I'm happy the way I am, but I'm not perfect. Just because I'm calling myself a sovereign empress doesn't mean my lessons have ended. I have yet to learn more. I have yet to grow. I have yet to evolve. I have so many things that I don't know that I need to keep working on. I think that's what a sovereign empress is. Did I answer that?
Yeah, I mean, you said that a sovereign empress is somebody who is aligned mind, body, and spirit. You also touched on a sovereign empress being someone who is of service um, to, everywhere and people around them. And then you also touched on the sovereign empress knowing that they're not perfect and that it's going to be a lifelong journey of learning,
Yes.
and growing into that. So tell me more about the book. Now we haven't touched on that there's actually a book, and that's me knowing some background before we
Yes.
got here, but I want to touch on that. Tell us about the book.
So I think I'm gonna have to just start from the origin of the book. So basically, I mean, I'm divorced. I got divorced right before COVID lockdown happened in 2020, and since then I have not dated. I went into my solitude. Just went into the divine presence and just been there. Just have the divine guide me and nurture me and heal me. And recently, like literally a few months ago, I came across this guy and we dated for 14 days. Now, it's been 6 years since I've actually truly dated anybody. So this was a bit of a, yeah, I have a date kind of exciting part. But I also
Hmm.
noticed during those 14 days, I mean, he ejected himself out of this relationship in 14 days, which is, I'm gonna touch on that in just a little bit. But during these 14 days, subconsciously, I was applying everything I learned in my life. Everything I needed to learn from reading different dating books or watching different dating videos or whatever it is. I don't know how, but I was standing my ground with this guy. I was like little bit I was like meh with him, like meh, Like if you are here, great. If you're not here, also great. It's not that I need you to complete me. I'm already a complete person. I mean, to a
Mm-hmm.
point where he actually mentioned to me like, oh, it's like we were talking about something, and he said, yeah, it's like I'm incomplete and you're incomplete, and we come and we complete each other. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You are
Mm-hmm.
incomplete. I am complete. I don't need anybody to complete me. But like these 14 days, every single day was a challenge. Every single day I was encountering something that was reminding me what I've learned. And I was, because also wanted to enjoy the date, I was like putting it at the back burner too, but I wasn't forgetting about it. I was like, okay, noted, we'll touch base later. Noted, we'll touch base later. Oh, this was a bad behavior on his part. Noted, we'll touch base later. Noted. So I didn't want to turn myself bitter in front of him while be like, that was not right. No, no. I had my cool. I'm there to have fun. I was having fun, and that's also I'm gonna touch base on, like, how we shouldn't feel regretful while we're having fun. So these 14 days, everything that happened after the 14 days ended, there was a little bit of heartbreak, of course. Like I was anticipating it would work out, but it didn't work out, and that's okay. There's definitely a detachment phase that happens with some tears, and that is completely normal, and it is required for healing. You need your tears is a way to get the cortisol out of your body, like those stress hormones, and it needs to come out of your body because you're ejecting that energy out. So that's required. Anyways, after that, I sat down and I started to just ask myself, what did I learn from this? What did I learn from this 14-day dating phase? And I started to just write pointers down. And as I was like going day by day, moment by moment for 14 days, every single thing that happened, I was like, it felt like as if God has sent me a test just to see whether I have learned anything from all this time or not. And I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I passed the test. And that's just me
Mm-hmm.
analyzing myself. I passed the test, but I also learned more from it. And as I am decoding all these things and analyzing, and I'm writing down things like, okay, he did this and he shouldn't be doing that, and this should be the way, and I should be aware of this. I'm like collecting all of these data points into like this really concise, very direct pages of work. And I'm like thinking to myself, no, I'm not, no, that was not me thinking. It was my intuition. And that's when my intuition came in and said, what you have, this is not yours to keep. That was the sound. This is not yours to keep. You need to share.
Mm-hmm.
This was like more of like an experiment that God just gave me. He's like, here, test yourself, see what you learn, and meanwhile have fun. Good luck. And I'm gonna see what you learn too, so we can see what new lessons I need to bring in. Because when we don't learn from our situations, any situation that comes into our life will teach us something. If we don't learn from it, the lesson that was assigned to that situation that we were supposed to learn, if we don't learn it, that similar situation is going to happen again, and it's going to be more like harder.
Mm-hmm.
The difficulty is going to increase. Like it's kind of like God first, God like shook us awake, then we didn't have, then he threw like cold water on us, then we didn't awake, and then he just slapped us like, here you go, just get over it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yes,
kind
I
of
say
like
that
that.
all the time. It will get progressively worse. If you keep doing
Yes.
something that you know in your spirit you should not be doing. I say that all the time.
Yep, yep. So then I took all of these data points and I said, you know what? There's nobody that I've read so far or watched videos that are sharing their own experience. Like, nobody I see out there that says, hey, this exactly happened with me. This is the right way how they should behave. This is what I learned from it. And this is what I'm telling you to do. Right? So I'm thinking to myself, okay, this information is not for me to keep. I need to share it with the world. So I'm going to go ahead and share this with the world. And I was at first, first I was like, oh my God, my friends and family, what are they gonna think? My culture, because coming from, I have not met a single person from my culture sharing her dating life this openly.
Yeah, no, I
So it's
understand.
like, so even like a few days ago, I'm like, I have the entire manuscript ready to go, And I'm thinking myself, do I want to do this? And then the only voice I'm hearing within myself is like, yes, because this is not yours to keep. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I just trust the divine. I've always trusted the divine, and he never disappoints. He never disappoints.
Yes. Like I say, God is good all the time.
Yes.
So tell us about how that 14-day experience, you have the book, and walk us through some of it that women can get away with taking this. Like when they read this book, how would you want the woman reading this book to feel after have read your book?
Uh, I want them to feel a sigh of relief because what I'm sharing here is literally day to day, and I have the reason I'm looking at is the manuscript is right here, if in case I need to pull something out of there. But this is literally the 14 days day to day broken down by moment, so they can, because I'm a kinesthetic learner. So for me, if somebody gives me an example of a situation and then shows me what to do in that situation, I am more inclined to learn that way faster. Even if I encounter a similar situation or a situation that's slightly different, but now I know how to navigate the original situation based on the example, now I can change my actions based on that situation, but I know the foundation now. Okay, like I know how to, like, this book is going to show you all the places where the mask slipped. So what I'm teaching you is I'm making you, by pointing everything, I'm making you aware, like, this is where the mask slipped. This was the mask slipping. We need to catch it here. We need to catch it. For example, like, there were a couple of times what happened, like when we met at a convention and we were parked in the garage, which is across from the convention center. So when he would walk me back and forth, he would walk towards the curbside, which is the chivalrous way men needs to do. Men needs to be on the curbside to protect the woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's showing me that he's protective over me. However, when I needed to change my dress for the evening event, he was suggested, like, oh, why don't you just change in your car? It's easier. How is that protecting my dignity now? Like, see how contradicting that. Because, see, like, people, this is what I'm going to point out. One more thing that book's going to help you is that not always their actions are correct. Okay, people say, like, don't pay attention to words, pay attention to the actions. Even sometimes, so even actions are not reliable. Because they can pretend for the short amount of time, any guy can pretend to be the best guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't live with them. So he if he has to pretend to be the guy of your dreams for 5 hours, he's going to be able to do that. Because he doesn't have to keep up the charades. So I'm teaching you how to pick up those little pointers and just make a note in the back of your head. Don't spoil your mood of the evening. Just make a note, be like, this is the guy I need to block when I get home.
Absolutely.
Right. So and then on top of, there was one other moment. So along the same line, the protection line, where we were at, like, a couple of times we were at the coffee shops and stuff, right? So it's at the night time, and when we would depart, he would go to his car, I would go to my car, and I noticed every single time he left before me. Shouldn't he, if he cares about me, shouldn't he make sure that I'm the first one to leave the parking lot, since I'm a lady alone at night, before he?
Like talk about more about what is the sigh of relief from, if you don't mind.
I think the sigh of relief is from all the things we are keeping ourselves binded in. So this book is about dating the guy in 14 days. However, all the things I'm pointing out is going to awaken something inside of you. The
Okay.
Empress that's sleeping inside of you. And something's gonna validate that all the things you thought about, maybe last guy or a friend or a relative, you were like, it will assure you that what your intuition was telling you was right. And
Got you.
I think the sigh of relief comes in when we have a proof that our intuition is never wrong. And once we start to believe our intuition, intuition is a fancy word for just saying my soul, listening to our
Mm-hmm.
soul. What is a soul? It's literally a part of God, right? So when we listen to our soul is never wrong. And so it brings you this peace. So this sigh of relief is also from the fact that now you know what to look for in your future relationships. Now you know that you won't be wasting months and years on a guy. You can literally audit him in 14 days and be done with it.
Now, when you say audit, is that is that part of you use these terms, audit, blueprint, things like that. So is that from the book? Is it like a guide? Is this going to help awaken like an empress in every one of us?
Yes.
Is that something that readers can look forward to?
Yes, yes. So blueprint in a sense that if so I'm a landscape designer, right? So when I design somebody's landscape, that's the blueprint of their yard. How I want, like based on what their needs are, I do a functional design where I need to put the swimming pool, where I need to put, their outdoor kitchen, if it's closer to the gas line, where I need, or and accessible to them right away should they need to just grill every day and they're not using the pool every day. So how far that needs to be. So all of that things is a blueprint, right? When I design it for you and somebody builds it, now you know how to use the space that best serves you.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what the book is going to do. I have something that I went through literally, and I'm just giving you hands on. This is what happened to me. This is how I navigated it. These are the mistakes I made. So you should, like, I did it the hard way. Why should you?
Exactly.
So, I, um, my last relationship, I was stuck in for 6 years. Nobody helped me get out of it. I wish I had this book like 10 years ago. I mean, I would be able to literally eject the guy in like 14 days. Now, 14 days is my situation. It could depend on situation to situation. Somebody might be able to eject a guy in just first date after reading the book. Somebody might be able to eject a guy maybe in a month. But again, this book is going to save you a lot of time and a heartache.
I think that we all are excited to hear that because being a person who has definitely had her share of wasting said time. But I'm at the age now where I look back at moments of perceived time wasted that now it's like, you know what was the lesson in that? What part did I play?
Right.
That's where I'm at in my reflection with that. So um I is there anything else that you would like us to know about the Sovereign Empress?
I think one thing I want to mention here is that when when we were on a first date, this guy mentioned that he is going through his second divorce. Um, and then I think later hours down or maybe like next day, I don't exactly remember the time frame. That's when he mentioned that he has a situationship as well. I proceed to keep dating this guy. And I had a reason for this because this is controversial thing. I don't want to be the other woman. I never did. But here I was dating a guy who is still married and has a side chick already. And then I was like, what? Third, fourth, fifth side chick? God knows.
Yeah.
Right? So, so I just want to address this in a sense that why I did it. Like, so so there are three things here. First one is my manifestation that came true. When I was getting ready for the convention, um, my intuition is like, you're gonna get a date. So I was like, first I said I want a date because this was my community-based convention, and I was like, a lot of single guys might be there, and it's really easy to meet people. So thinking in terms of how universe would think, oh, this hey universe, it's a great easy platform for you to
Mm-hmm.
help me meet somebody because there's a high chance,
Mm-hmm.
So I said I want a date, and then my intuition is like, okay, you're gonna get a date. So now there are four steps in the manifestation. Number one is when you make a wish. Number two is when you prepare it in the physical realm, right? So when I got my intuition saying you're gonna get a date, I was like, okay, I made sure I had one of the days completely open, no seminars, no visiting of family, no nothing. So if I do get a date, I'll schedule it that day. And then I packed a separate outfit just for that date. So
Mm-hmm.
when I made the wish, send it out to the fifth dimension, and then when I prepared for it in the third dimension, now I'm uniting the spiritual and the physical realm into one. So when they unite, the time and space continuum breaks, and that's when your wish comes true, because universe is like, okay, I told you I'm going to give you a date. You prepared for it, so now I don't have a choice but to give you a date, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is when your date comes true. But third thing is that before, now at this point, when I was packed my dress for it, have a day open, I'm not even there yet, but I'm like, I'm going to have a date.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I sat down on the floor and I said, thank you for an amazing date. There is no date. There is no date. But I said, thank you for an amazing date. Why? Because gratitude, it makes, that's puts the stamp on your wish, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
you're already thanked the universe for the date. Now the universe is like, okay, you've already thanked me for it, so sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Now I don't have a choice but to give you a date. You already thanked me for an amazing date, so I'm gonna give you that. But the caveat is that we need to be very specific. I didn't specify that I wanted a
Mm-hmm.
date with a single guy.
Yeah, you just set the date.
I just wanted a date. So universe is like, okay, I'll give you a date. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can't even blame God for this because I asked for a date and I got a date.
Mm-hmm.
Now coming, so the second thing is that, I have not had a date in 6 years. And so for me to like get a date is like, I've been in the desert for 6 years and somebody just offers you like a glass of Sprite, even though you wanted water. You're gonna take the
Mm-hmm.
Sprite. I'm gonna not even gonna complain. I've been thirsty. I'm gonna take the Sprite. I'm not even gonna complain about that it's not water. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I was. Like, finally I have a date.
Mm-hmm.
And especially the person from my community. Okay. The so that's the second pointer. The third pointer why I did this is because I lately what was happening in my community is every time, so in our community, when a girl is single, a guy is single, people have like this word of mouth where they be like, oh, we have this amazing girl, we have this amazing guy. Do you want me to hook you, like connect you two together? You would be great fit for each other. I know this family for a certain time, amazing family, well settled people, blah blah blah, and they would try to like matchmake. Whole community is like
Mm-hmm.
that, very supportive. So a lot of ladies in my community have tried to match make for me because they're like,
Mm-hmm.
you're so amazing person. Why are you single? Like, So that's I really admire them. I love them a lot. I mean, they had good intentions, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what happened is that I have but certain things about me that's non-negotiable and truth, right? First, I'm divorced. Second, I have cats. Third, I don't want kids. So those are the
Mm-hmm.
things that are like no one can change. So you take it as a package or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if there is, so then that's the thing I have to send the information out to be like, okay, tell them that I'm divorced, I have cats, and I don't want kids. And these ladies will be at sometimes be like, why don't you like start talking to the guy? Don't tell him anything yet. See how things goes, and then you can tell him later on. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to start a relationship based on secrets.
Mm-hmm.
Because what if he's allergic to cats?
Yeah, you're
Then
right.
what
You're
happens?
right.
Now, like, I'm talking to this guy, we like each other. In 2 months, we're like, you know what? Let's get our family involved. This is getting amazing. And that's when I tell him, so I have cats. Sure, I'm allergic to cats. Now what do? I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
give up my cats for him. My cats have seniority over him. I'm not going to give up my cats. He just came. My cats have been in my life for 6 years. They have
Yeah.
seniority over anybody who enters my life. So it's a package deal. It comes. That's my dowry, dude. My cats are
Yeah.
my dowry. So that's the third. So this is but it kept happening, like the
Mm-hmm.
rejection, right? The rejection kept happening. Like every time I would tell them I don't want kids, I have cats. That's like they would stop. The connection would stop, and I haven't even gotten in touch with the guy. It's just based on the information they receive. They're like, oh no, we're not interested. We don't want to pursue this.
Yes.
So I and that it happened again and it happened again, and I don't hear from them at all. And I'm like, what happened to that guy? He's like, oh, since you don't want kids, they don't want to pursue. Since you have cats, they don't want to pursue. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But to
Mm-hmm.
me, I felt like maybe I'm the problem. And to a point where it hit my self esteem so much that I was starting to think to get rid of my cats.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a this was a wake up call for me, and I was like, Binish, what are you? No, they're your my cats are my responsibility for this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I adopted them, but it was destined in my contract. It was in my contract. I'll be taking care of them for their until they die, right? So they are part of my life. And I was like, Binish, what are you doing? No, they
Mm-hmm.
come first. Plus, during my divorce and my downfall, when I was in the abyss, when I was getting suicidal thoughts, my cats pulled me out of that darkness. I owe them my life, you
A
know?
lot of people, I've met quite a few people that feel the same way when it comes to their cats or their pets or anything like that. So I think that that's actually, you'd be surprised that there are male counterparts. I don't know if they'll be in your community now, but there
Yeah.
are male, counterparts that feel the same way. Like,
Yeah.
so you're
Yeah.
definitely not alone in that sense at all.
Yes. So then that brings me back to my third point, which is my self esteem, right? My self
Hmm.
esteem went down the drain. I was like, maybe I'm not good enough to get a companion. And so when this guy shows up, it's more like a validation for me, right?
Hmm.
It was more like a boost of self esteem, like, oh, I can be chosen regardless of my cats, regardless of not having kids. Like, somebody can choose me. I felt chosen, I felt seen, I felt heard from this
Hmm.
guy. And he's at a high caliber. So I was like, oh, a high caliber guy chose me, which means I can be chosen, which means I am value. Like, I have value, right?
Hmm.
So I think, and then that brings me to my fourth point. Because my self-esteem was running me down the drain, which would take me to the abyss, to the darkness, right? God didn't wanted that after I worked so hard to come to the even evolve after, like, God polished me so much. He's like, no, 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 I'm not gonna let you fall. So he's like, here's a
Hmm.
little energy drink. And the guy was
Yes.
a little energy drink for me to pull me out of that trance that was actually, because that, remember, when we are evolving, when we are escalating spiritually, energetically, and we're increasing our vibration and our frequency, the enemy is going to throw all the cards in to get you down. So
Hmm.
those rejections are actually the enemy's way of pulling me back down and stalling my rise. And then God is like, nope, she's my daughter, stand down. And then he's like, here you go, energy drink. So I
Hmm.
took it as a gift from God, this date, as a gift from God to let me know my worth.
Hmm.
Because he gave me like his 100% time and attention. I
Hmm.
mean, this guy could be doing anything in the world, but he gave that to me. And our time and our attention are the valuable assets. You will
Hmm.
never get your attention and your time back ever.
No, I agree. I agree. And one of my good friend, shout out to Tony, earlier on a podcast, might have been like around season one, I believe. He had stated, and he was the only man on the panel actually, and he said the number one way men show their love, their interest, their devotion is through their time. That's what he said, time,
Yeah.
because it makes a lot of sense too. Because if you're a man or a woman who has money as a abundance, yes, it's really easy to hide behind that through gifts or nice dinners or trips and things like that. But if it's not that quality time, those conversations, that walk to your car and to
Mhm.
watch me drive off, those types of things.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like,
Absolutely.
but we also have to remember that, some of these men will go to every single length to pretend to be the perfect guy for you just so they can break your walls, just so they can get what they want. So yeah, I didn't let him break my walls. I was like, I'm still gonna be enjoying the moment with him. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
gonna keep in the back of my head that I cannot trust him just yet because he is in a divorce, and he, like, going through a divorce, and he is in a situationship, which means that he has too many things.
Yeah, like it just means that he's not a serious person. Like when I
Yeah,
when I
exactly.
And it's,
Like,
I mean,
I mean, at
it's
some point he did mention like he's gonna go file his divorce like that day when he drove me all the way from one city to the other to go see my aunt, and that was he offered. Even though I said I don't want to impose, he's like, I would like to. I'm like, sure. And he sat in the coffee shop for 5 hours and then drove me back 3 hours back. You know, and he in that drive time he told me that he would file his divorce that day while at the coffee shop. And then he said he's once he returns back home, he's gonna end the situationship so he can fully pursue what we have encountered here. So that is future faking.
mm-hmm. Yes.
Because in my
Yes.
head, I'm thinking, okay, until it happens, I have no proof that he has applied for the divorce while he was at the coffee shop. He just said it he did, but I don't have a proof of this. This is Sovereign Empress talking. Now, if this Binish
Mm-hmm.
was the older Binish, she would take the word for it. Like she wouldn't
Yes.
question the intention. She would just take. But because I'm the Sovereign Empress now, I'm in my head. I'm thinking, yeah, but I don't have a proof. You haven't shown me the confirmation letter from the court that you have filed it.
Yeah,
You could have
exactly.
just opened your laptop like, hey, I just submitted. I just want to show it to you that it's in, and I'm gonna. This is the email I got. I don't know that you did or
Mm,
didn't. I have no idea. And I don't even know whether you're gonna go back and end your situationship. I don't know that. It's in the future. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't even know if
mm-hmm.
this guy is in my future.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's those are the few reasons why I just let myself enjoy the date because I felt like after a long time I deserved it. I think I deserved that attention. I deserved to feel valued. I deserve to feel chosen because I do have a value in God's eye, and that's God is not gonna come himself to tell me, Binish, no, you have value, my daughter. You're amazing. No, he's gonna send that job to somebody on planet Earth who has a close proximity to me who can deliver his message to me. And it could be anyone. God's message is gonna his help and his messages comes, like when you say God works in mysterious ways. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is.
No, no, I completely understand. I really do. And with the book, when
Yes.
can we all get a copy?
I will be I believe I'm going to have a pre-launch sometime in June. The
Okay.
original launch is in July. I'm
Mm-hmm.
also releasing an album with it, which actually runs hand in hand with the book. And you'll have a QR code inside the book where you can listen to the song before you can read the next chapter.
I
Um,
love that.
you can get into that frequency, that energy, right? And the song, there are 8 songs. There are more chapters than 8, but then there are 8 songs, and each is starting from, like, my first song is Tears of the One Who Stayed. This song is about my divorce time frame, when I was married, and I was getting suicidal thoughts, and I decided to stay. So the tears of the
Mm-hmm.
one who stayed, and not so I didn't commit suicide. I stayed.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then progressively you'll hear the next song, which is going to then be another upgrade of my personality, right? Upgrade of my existence. Each song is an upgrade of my existing until the last song, which is the Empress Code. So this is where I become the Empress.
I
So
love it. I love it. And for those who don't know, Banish is a musical artist and she does have music out. Can you please let everyone know where they can find your music?
you can find it on YouTube channel right now. My first album is already on YouTube. The name is Talab, Talab. But you can, if you type my name Binish Lalani, you'll be able to see, and you'll see the logo of the Sovereign Empress there, and that is my page. And the second album is in the works. I'm just working on the last song for that. That is not gonna have any YouTube videos because I'm actually concentrating on the third album, which is the Sovereign Empress, the Code. The book
Mm-hmm.
is the blueprint. The album is the code. That's why it's the code and the blueprint. So yeah. So I'm working on the third album very vigorously. So that's that. But the second album is gonna come out as soon as I get the last song record it, and I will be just have on Spotify some romantic songs. They're in my language, but you should be able to have access to the subtitles. So
Yeah, that's nice. That's so exciting.
thank
And I am so excited to watch the Sovereign Empress bloom, and I can't wait to hear people's feedback and tell their stories of how they were impacted and they were able to take what you put in that book and see the red flags and the slips and of just everything. And like you said, not just relationships; it could just be with the people around you,
yeah.
your friends, everything. So like I I love that. And what's cool about today's episode is mostly when I do episodes, they're fully just in just us talking. You don't really get to see us. So it's really nice that people get to see some of the beautiful guests that I have. So you are the first on screen interview that we had on the Positive Vibe Enthusiast. So I'm super excited about that as well. And I cannot thank you enough for coming on and sharing your story, the Sovereign Empress, and all the things. But if you feel I might have left something out, let me know. Is there anything you would like to tell the people before we go?
So I don't use the term red flags in my book because I
Oh,
feel
my apologies.
no, it's okay because may I add that? Like red flags, in my opinion, are a distraction. The reason why they're a distraction is because say you're dating five guys with nine red flags and one green flag each, and then you meet this one guy with nine green flags and one red flag. What's
Hmm.
gonna happen to your brain right now? Ooh, he's better than the others. I'm gonna take him. No, why? Why do you want to take him with that one red flag? If Sovereign Empress deserves a guy with all green flags.
Oh, so a sovereign empress believes that there can be a perfect union.
So, yes, because perfect union does not mean that both people are perfect. Because, like I said, I'm not perfect in the beginning of our call. I'm still learning. But is he willing to match you at your frequency? Does he have the shared ultimate missions of mission life, like life missions with you? Is he the one that's going to grow with you, or is he going to be the one that's going to stop your growth?
Okay, I understand. So there's no red flags, just slips of the mask. You guys heard that. So I'm excited. And yeah, so I think that there are the perfect matches. I actually agree with that. But I'm also a person that believes that there I do believe in concessions personally. Like there are some things that I would be willing to make an adjustment on. Not change, but I can make adjustments. But I do understand where you come from with, staying sovereign, being 10 toes down because I think that is a problem. A lot of people aren't being 10 toes down on how they feel and their boundaries. So I do respect
And I
that
agree with
greatly.
you. Like when I say all green flags, it actually just means that is he the type of man who deserves to sit next to you on your
Yes.
like throne, right?
Hmm.
If red flag doesn't mean that if he um burps loudly after every meal. That's not a
Hmm.
red flag. That's just something. If that doesn't annoy you, that doesn't annoy you. What I mean is like in terms of the masculine energy, because the sovereign empress cannot be sovereign until she is in her feminine energy, right? We're yin and yang, so we both have masculine and feminine in us. However, the sovereign
Hmm.
energy, remember, we're co-creators, so we need to be in our creative energy, which is the feminine energy. So if you are in the feminine energy, you need a masculine energy to ground us, right? Like a mountain, like a foundation. Because we are the creative energy. And the masculine energy is the one that grounds us. So he needs to be the foundation for your wings, right? For your leap so you can fly. Right? He needs to be that air airspace where your plane can take off from, right? So as long as he is that for you, I I don't think that he's gonna have a red flags for you because
Yes.
if he's the one that is willing to, we like I said, we're all growing and learning day to day, every single day. Nobody's perfect. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that the guy needs to be completely like sovereign emperor for me. No, I'm learning, so is he. But is he willing to learn with me? Is he willing to grow with me as a person that who so my goal is to do something for the planet, right? Give back in any way I can. Is he going to merge his forces with me, or is he going to say that's your thing to do, I'm not interested? Because
Mm-hmm.
that is not okay with me.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. I definitely understand. And I am excited. When the book comes out, where do you think people can buy it? Like when it does, what platform should they look out for to get the purchase the book?
So right now I am working with Amazon, so
Okay,
that's an
good.
easy find. But as I do a deep dive, I might have other platforms available to purchase the book from.
Okay, and let the people know one more time where they can find you on all your socials.
Okay, so you can find me on YouTube channel by typing my name Binish Lalani. And the logo is Empress Code, so you'll see my YouTube channel. My Instagram is blalani4477, and then my TikTok is Binish Lalani, I think. Uh,
Hmm.
and all of them have the logo there, so for you can match that, that's me. And plus my videos are there, so you can tell it's me. And the with the book, I'm also launching a scent that is the Empress Flora. Um, so it's something I'll be making at home. So something handmade, no chemicals, just everything that's handmade and reliable, and essence oil and whatnot. This is intended for you to put on if you're entering a business meeting or something very important, or like an interview or a date. Just put on, and then on your wrist. This just the scent is going to help you um, awaken the empress inside of you, put you in that frequency right off the bat. So as you enter the room, you bring that internal sovereign empress with you. So that will help. I'm only going to have 25 of those scents available per month, and then I have a bundle that you can get the Sovereign Empress book, signed by me, hard copy, and then the scent in it. There's going to be a handwritten letter by me to the person who gets the bundle. There's
I
also
love
going
that.
there's also going to be a surprise pin of the Sovereign Empress to joining the sisterhood, and then there's also going to be so there's like the scent, the book, the letter, the pin, and then that creates that creates the most amazing experience you'll have. I guarantee that for you. And a bonus letter. Oh, there's a bonus lesson. This bonus lesson is not in the book. So this
Okay.
bonus lesson is decoding the last voice message I received from the guy when he was actually breaking up with me, and I'm decoding it line by line to telling you what he actually meant by each line, so you don't take it as, oh, he's so nice by doing it so politely. No. There's if that was a previous Binish, I would have totally fallen for that and be like, oh my gosh, he's so nice. I must have messed this up and it's my
Mm-hmm.
fault. But no, as a Sovereign Empress, I took that voice note and I decoded line by line. So there's a bonus lesson that's for your eyes only. So those are the things that are gonna be in the bundle, and another short video message from me to you. So there's gonna be part of the bundle. Oh, and the bundle is also going to be 25 per month, because I don't I won't have time to do more because I'm doing it myself. Like I'll be putting it together myself. Nobody else is touching it. It's me to you. Nobody else is touching
And
it.
I think the people can appreciate that in the world of not many things being done by hand anymore. So people will love and appreciate that, I am sure.
And
And
Tashi,
I
and Tashi, you're receiving a bundle because you're my second sisterhood.
well, I appreciate it. I can't wait to get my hands on it and read it and put it on my shelf. I'm excited. And
Thank you.
thank you to everyone watching. There will be more video form episodes to come. As always, I appreciate everyone. Have a good one and enjoy
Thank
yourselves.
you. Bye.
Bye.